Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new episode of Chatting with Lady C. Hello, Mum, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, honey. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good, good. Well, today is Boxing Day, isn't it?
Yes, it is Boxing Day.
Yes.
It's where all the sales come on.
Well, except they've been on from before, so...
Yes, but they get a little bit cheaper, better, more,
Yes.
they price it down a little bit more.
Yes. Okay, honey, do you have some treats in store for us?
Yes, I do. Well, first thing, I hope everybody did enjoy their Christmas, because it was...
Yes, I hope you did enjoy your Christmas, and that if you were alone, it wasn't too lonely, and if you were with family, it was nice. And I mean, Christmas is always trying, isn't it? And it's particularly trying in a situation like this. But we've been very lucky, so we must thank our lucky stars and be grateful.
We've had a good Christmas, so yes. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start off with our questions today. So our first one is from Tracy Huxtable. Can the RF sue Netflix if they are portrayed in such a vile manner?
No. One of the amazing things is if you are a public figure, people can actually make a movie about you and lie about you and say the most appalling things about you. And as long as it's entertainment, you can't sue. The laws regarding defamation, especially in America, are very much tilted against public figures. And in England, it used to be better, but now you virtually have to not only prove malice, which you have to in America, but in England you have to prove actual damage. And that's in an ordinary defamation case. Now, in a defamation case involving a television company making a movie about a public figure's life, there's virtually nothing that they can't say, and there's virtually nothing that the public figure can do. It's very unfair, but that's what the facts of the matter are. And I think that should explain to people the complete disadvantage which public figures generally and the royal family in particular face where things like the crown are concerned. Next question.
No worries.
Well, actually, did you find that interesting?
I did, because I was actually going to say a Rocket Man about when Rocket Man came out, there was an article saying about his ex-wife not wanting to be in it, but they still put some scenes of her and made a scene up with her. I don't think they lied about the scene, of course, but she didn't want anything to be to have to do with it, and they still put her in it.
Yes.
And she didn't like that at all.
No, well, in fact, she sued.
Yes, that's what I'm going up to. That she sued them.
Yes.
But
she didn't sue for the portrayal.
Yeah.
In the movie, she sued over the fact that Elton John and she had come to an arrangement when they were getting divorced that he would never mention her name.
Said in the newspapers, yes.
So she wasn't able to sue the makers of the movie, but she was able to sue Elton John, her ex-husband, for effectively breach of contract.
Okay.
So
I was just wondering.
Big difference that actually.
No worries. Okay, perfect. So for our next one is from Anna May Burden. Lady C and Misha, do you see the monarchy continuing with the death of the current queen?
Oh yes, I'm sure the monarchy will continue. It's not going to be easy to get rid of the monarchy. If the Queen dies, Prince Charles, if he's alive, automatically inherits the throne. It's not an elective, and the politicians and the people can't vote upon it. It is what it is, and it's here. As long as it's not abolished, it remains intact, and it's much more difficult to abolish a monarchy than you would imagine, because all the laws, for instance, are done in the name of the crown. So the state is embodied by the sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that easy to get rid of a monarchy, except in times of great crisis, which the death of a monarch is not a great crisis. What would be a great crisis would be, for instance, there's a war, as there was in Russia, there's a war, and the government is hopelessly incompetent, and the monarchy is hopelessly incompetent, and the Tsar is 1,000 miles away, playing at soldiers, while his crazy wife is not governing the country, and bread riots start, and then that's how monarchies get abolished. But it's not an easy thing. It's not that straightforward.
It's not COVID that's going to bring it down.
No, Harry and Meghan. Next question.
No worries. So for our next one is from Selena S. Beautiful Christmas tree. Thank you for sharing with us. Many Britons want the Duke and Duchess of Sussex title stripped. Do you think this will happen soon? I hope so.
Well, I'm afraid I wouldn't recommend that you hold your breath, because your lungs might burst. I don't think they're going to be stripped of their titles anytime soon, unless they do something that is so... because they keep on breaching every interdict and every protocol. They just keep on breaching. But as one of the royals said to me the other day, and I think the public needs to understand this, Harry is a beloved son and a beloved grandson. Mm-hmm. And as one of the royals said, he is soft in the head. When you're dealing with somebody who is soft in the head, it's not that apparent to the world at large that something is going on there, that if things were more apparent, if, for instance, he had... Mickey, come on! If, for instance, he had a physical impairment or a mental impairment that was visible, and people could say, gosh, yes, there's obviously something really wrong with him, and they could pin the flag to that mast, it would be easier for everybody. But it's not obvious. Well, it's obvious to the discerning, but it's not. It's being soft in the head is I mean, it's a difficult situation for everybody concerned. And unless they do something really dreadful, I'm afraid they're going to keep their titles. And I can see why the royal family would not wish to strip him of his title. Because you really would have to do something pretty appalling to be stripped of your title.
As we know, it's not really him as well. He's just following like a little sheep.
Yes.
So for him to do something really bad, I don't think it would happen. She possibly could, but him,
well,
I'm not sure.
Whatever he has, she carries as well. So
yes, of course.
So, and also, of course, Meghan has created the situation with Harry's connivance, where the British people have been accused of being racist, and any criticism of them, or if they were shorn of their titles, except for a very good reason, like they did something truly appalling, like, I won't even speculate as to what they would do. If they did something truly appalling, where, for instance, they were charged with a serious crime, for instance, what happened with the Infanta Cristina and her husband, the former Duke of Palma de Mallorca, yes, then that would be cause. But between now and then, it's not going to happen. Also, Parliament would have to strip Harry of his peerage. The Queen could, in an order in council, take away his princely rank, etc. But it's not her province anymore to take away the dukedom of Sussex from him. So, and it would create a huge problem for everybody in this country. And of course, you can imagine the way Meghan and Harry, because they're already, certainly she already is, oh, I'm such a victim. Can you imagine? My suffering is greater than people in South Africa who starve and have to walk 5 miles a day for water and suffer genital mutilation and are victims of terrible crimes. My suffering is great because I'm a royal duchess. Oh, please, please, pity me, pity me, pity me. Can you imagine if she really then had something that she and her band of followers could get their teeth into? So it's not happening anytime soon. Next question. No. However, before changing the subject, I will say pressure can be put upon him behind the scenes to voluntarily give up the use of the title. But that's not going to happen anytime soon either. So.
Nice. So for our next question today is from Sharon Sanders. Lady Colin, I have read several of your books and I just love the way you write. You have a fabulous vocabulary. Would you answer this question, although it is a personal one? How did you develop such an impressive vocabulary? Just curious. Thank you.
Oh dear. Well, thank you for the compliment. Oh, I read a lot. If I don't know the meaning of a word, I look it up. Also, I love using language to capture the exact thought. And for that, you need a rich vocabulary. Because all thought is nuanced and all description, therefore, requires the employment of one word to describe one thing and another word to describe another thing. Tone also becomes very important. And the ability to convey your thought not only accurately, but acceptably, and especially when you're speaking or writing about contentious or controversial matters, to do it in a legally acceptable way. All of that is really important. The employment of words almost as a tool to convey the thought. Does that make sense to you?
It totally does. So yes, I met somebody this year that said something very nice and wise, is like, it's better to use your vocabulary, and people that use their vocabulary, it's, even though other people might not understand, if you understand a few words,
you'll get the meaning.
You get the meaning of the sentence, right. And that's also you learning a word.
That's right.
And also people that swear a lot is not very good. They should not swear and use more of their vocabulary.
Well, swearing is often a substitute for a very bad vocabulary.
That's exactly what she said. That's exactly what I was trying to get to. I was trying to find the right way to say it.
I mean, the alternative, of course, is, swearing does have its function in life. If you're furious, it conveys anger very well. If you want to, in certain instances, get a point across, it's an appropriate way of getting the point across. Language is really the bridge from your thought to the other person's understanding.
Because that can attack somebody very much as well, just by talking to them with a good vocabulary. Because they'll be like, "What's she trying to make me feel stupid?" No, mate, she's not making you feel stupid. You are. It's just simple. It's just simple. Like you say, like if you didn't know a word, you would look it up and try and remember it for the next time.
I love language. Of course, I started life as a painter, and I think there's a part of me that paints with words. You know, I think the whole business of having been a painter has actually enhanced my use of the language, because I really do paint with words, and it's a completely natural process. But thank you very much for the compliment. It's much appreciated.
So for our next question today is from Almeen. Do you think Prince Charles' idea of slimming down the monarchy just to get rid of Meghan Markle?
No, I don't think that Prince Charles's objective of slimming down the monarchy has anything whatsoever to do with Meghan Markle. He had this objective long before Meghan Markle even appeared on the scene. I have never completely agreed with it. I think he's made a very big mistake in some ways, and I saw and have said it over the years. So one of the dangers of too slimmed down a monarchy is that if something goes wrong with the core group, it's more damaging than if you have a larger troupe performing. Well, of course, that's exactly what has happened with Harry and Meghan, because Charles was pushing for a slimmed down monarchy, and even though a lot of the other royals still do their public duties, they're not reported upon the way the core group has been reported upon. He also didn't want Beatrice and Eugenie assuming royal duties, while everybody else wanted them to assume royal duties. And in my opinion, they should have been encouraged to assume royal duties. He didn't want it, it's not happened. So when the whole Harry and Meghan business happened, the troupe was really rather thin on the ground. So at least where the public perception was concerned, because several of the other royals still do public engagements, and they are subsidized by the Queen out of her own pocket. Charles has, over the years, tried to trim it down rather too much, in my opinion, and has succeeded. Having said that, the Swedish royal family has recently trimmed they've actually not even trimmed, they've culled, So there does seem to be a trend for slimmed down nuclear monarchies. I see his point. I don't happen to agree with it entirely, but I see it. And I think the Queen has come up with the ideal solution which is there is, where the public purse is concerned, a slimmed down monarchy, but where royal duties are concerned and the subsidizing of those members of the royal family who are undertaking public duties, that she subsidizes them out of her own pocket. What do you think of that?
I didn't even know that he was doing that, so for me that was quite interesting to know.
Good. Next question, Harry.
Yes. Just before we go on to the next question, Mum, I didn't finish Almi's question. I didn't see it. I had my thumb on it. I thought it was the next number. So I'm just going so we can finish it off. So when she's gone, will they be back to normal?
Well, of course, that presumes that she's going to be gone. I don't know that she's going anywhere very fast, as long as it's the show in town that suits her. I think she's going to be very much a stare, let's put it that way. And no, I don't think things will ever get back to normal, because Prince Charles is the one who, as I said a bit earlier, believes in a slimmed down monarchy. So no, I don't think that it's ever going to return to normal. I hate that expression, the new normal, but I suspect this is the new normal. So
I've always used the expression normal. It comes from the French background, so for me it's not new. So for our next question today is from Mrs. Ray. Do you think that if they had survived, Diana and Dodi would have gone on to marry?
That's a really toughie. Certainly, and I know an awful lot of people do not like hearing this, and I know that some of Diana's friends, like Rosa Monckton, who, for personal reasons of her own, has tried to pretend that she knows that Diana would not have married Dodi, when in fact I know as a fact that Diana was getting ready to dump Rosa Monckton because she knew that Rosa Monckton did not approve of Dodi because of his background. And Diana was not prejudiced against Dodi's background. And I know that she was getting ready to freeze Rosa Monckton out, but she died before she could freeze her out. And at the time of their death, there is no doubt that Dodi had proposed, Diana had accepted his proposal, she had been to see a priest about marrying them. All of that suggests that at the time of their death, it was her intention to marry Dodi. Some people want to believe that she was using Dodi to make Hashnat Khan jealous. Hashnat Khan himself has confirmed that Diana is the one who dumped him and made herself inaccessible, because although their romance was more or less over, he would have expected to remain friends with her. She changed her number. She did to him what she did to many other people. When she was ready to move on, she did what Meghan does. She just made herself unavailable. And so there is no merit whatsoever in the notion that she was using Dodi to get at Hashnat Khan. He had made it absolutely clear to her that they would never get married, and she wanted to be married, and she not only was moving on, she had moved on from him with Dodi. And had she lived, would she have married Dodi? Who knows? Who knows? She was sufficiently unpredictable and changeable that you can't say yes with any certainty and you can't say no with any certainty, because she might well have married him, but she might equally have decided she didn't want to marry him. I'm not a fortune teller, and it's not the role of a biographer, certainly not the role of a responsible biographer, to take out a crystal ball and be speculating as to what will happen or what would have happened had the people remained alive.
I totally agree with you. Like, you want to say the fact. You don't want to make up a story or something that some person might believe when it's not true. You want to keep to the story.
I want to keep to the facts and let the facts speak for themselves.
Exactly.
And my opinions and my ego have no place in the book if I'm writing it. It's all fact driven. Nothing else counts.
So for our last question today is from Rachel Nelson. Were Harry and Meghan senior royals before they left? I've heard conflicting reports, and I was just curious what you had to say on that subject. Thank you for entertaining so many of us during a very challenging year.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I have to say the expression senior royals is not one with which I was particularly familiar before Meghan and Harry asserted that they were senior royals and stepping down from being senior royals. It's not an expression that has ever had wide coinage in royal circles. Because Harry was one of the six immediate in line of succession to the throne, and therefore would qualify as a councillor of state in the event of the monarch's absence, although it rarely is those nearest, so number 7, number 8, and number 9 can actually fill the role as well, in fact, if numbers 4, 5, and 6 are too young, or 3 and 4. So I just say that for what it's worth to make it more nuanced. Would that make him a senior royal? It's not an expression I like. It's not a term that has rare usage, except in the Harry and Meghan vernacular. And he certainly is the grandson of a monarch, will be the son of a monarch, and will be the brother of a monarch, and will be the uncle of a monarch. So he's relatively close to the throne. But then so were Queen Victoria's 8 children who were not going to succeed to the throne. And so were the Queen's other 3 children who were not going to succeed to the throne. And so were King George V's other 3 living children who did not succeed to the throne until one of them did. So, and of course, Princess Margaret was number 2 for a short while. And they all fall off the face of the earth, so to speak, when a new generation comes along and produces progeny. So, how senior a royal is Harry? Less and less would be the answer with the passage of time. And considering that he has actually decamped to America, and it will be very interesting to see what they come up with in terms of Spotify and what they're going to treat the world to at Christmas. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderfully uplifting thing like, you've got to love everybody, just love your father.
Also, like, for me as senior royal, Meghan could not be a senior royal. She's just entered the royal family. Like, for me, when you would say you're a senior royal, you've done quite a lot over the years, and you've grown and you matured yourself, and that's where I would call somebody a senior royal.
Well, of course.
Even William, I can't say he's a senior royal yet. He's definitely on that path. He's doing everything he should. He's growing up.
You're using senior really in terms of age and experience.
Yeah.
Yes. She's used the term in the American way to establish rank, and then says, but we don't care about rank.
Yes.
We don't care about rank. Just remember mine. But I don't care about it. You know, it's all about me as a personality and how much I love everybody.
Then Harry still has a higher rank than she does. For me, even
no, he doesn't though. A wife has an equal rank to her husband.
For me, she goes all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
She's just entered the family. She can't think that she's the same or equal to him. I'm sorry.
And you don't think that maybe she thinks she's superior to him?
I think that's what she thinks.
Because I think she's certainly given sufficient comments about the Queen, not knowing her place relative to Meghan's, for us to actually think that maybe Meghan really does think she's better than all of them. And they're really lucky to have had her, you know, but they didn't appreciate her, and they're racist, and they made her life so impossible, and all those ghastly people in Britain who didn't understand that I'm suffering very greatly when I'm a royal duchess, and, you know, my suffering is far more acute than anybody else's, and you've got to sympathize with me. Well, we'll see how it all pans out. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed your Christmas, and we will be back. God bless you.
Well, thank you, everybody, and we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you very much, and goodbye.